Welcome to Glamis Thanksgiving. Look at the millions of people here. Vendor row over there. Campers as far as you can see going that way. This is just one finger. And then out here, we're out here almost by the dunes. But yeah, good times. On this video, so we're going to look at what we did over Thanksgiving week, who we were with. Susan's upgrade that she got to her Can-Am, shock therapy. Gonna throw out a big shout out to those guys. Money well spent. You'll see it in this video. Talk about what that did to her Can-Am, why it's so great. See some stuff that we saw out here and having a great time. And we'll start with all of this madness of campers. I'm zooming through this part at high speed. This just represents one of the what they call the fingers at Glamis. So there are plenty of places to pull off and camp, and there's a bunch of these. We don't even touch Gecko Road, which is right when you come in, and the thousands and thousands of campers out there. You know, so you're just kind of you can run along like this for hours and just see nothing but the unbelievable amount of toys and fun that are going on at Glamis at Thanksgiving. So ran through this at high speed just to get a kind of a sense of just how massive it was. All right, here's a quick slow-mo. This is what was really giving Susan fits, is, you know, she'd come up to these little bumps and you can see the front end compress, and then she had to have to slow way down when she'd hit these. She couldn't really take them at a high rate of speed, and, you know, that was really slowing her down. We'll talk about that later. This is some video from our first morning ride, and you can see the sun in a couple of spots, really bright. Makes it difficult to read the dunes. Doug, who's our leader, has been doing this for 30 years. You know, we stick behind him, we stay in a group, we try to stay safe. But yeah, there's some hazards out there, the sun being one of them early in the morning or late at night. Difficult to read the dunes and make sure you don't drop off a cliff. So we had a good time, but we were also trying to be safe and go out there with experienced people who really could teach us what was going on.
Got a lot of power.
In this part of the video, I'm actually riding with Mike McGeary in his Polaris Razor S Turbo. Awesome car, and very different than Susan's. Susan's running about 152, 154 horsepower stock. Mike's got his bumped up to about 200 horsepower. His thing just is a beast power-wise. Seems like he's just kind of cruising, while Susan's really having to get on it. We're going to fix that on our next trip. So we've got some power upgrades scheduled, more morning sun, as you can see. But a good time. So we got to experience, you know, the Polarises are great, the Can-Ams are great. I think Susan and I we prefer the Can-Ams. That's her car of choice. But Mike's car is awesome, super powerful. Really just seems like he's just kind of cruising, where Susan is just seems like she's constantly in the gas. Look at those whoops; those were giving her fits. You can see she had to slow way down. That was something that inspired us to go to shock therapy. And you'll see some of the video later, and I do get better at filming as this weekend or this week went on. But you know, good stuff to learn, understand about these cars. I think Mike, who has the power, but I don't think his suspension was really up to par. The Polaris probably needs better suspension. I might talk a little bit about why I think that is later in the video. But yeah, I think he's putting shock therapy springs and doing the trick on his rig right now. So that's going to be cool to go out again, and Susan will have more power. Mike's going to have a better suspension, and you know, we're all going to compete. I wanted to talk some more about some other things I learned. Look at how we never go straight off or straight into anything in the sand like that. We're constantly going up and over. Like even we'll run a big dune, but nobody's going over the top. We kind of cruise along, ride the dunes, and then you cross over to the next dune. You could have gone left or right there. So what we're learning is that safe dune riding includes not going straight up and over a hill, looking out ahead of yourself, and like look at that big bump. Boy, that was you try to avoid those. There are these things called witch eyes, and sometimes you'll be cruising along here and it'll just be a straight drop off, and you got to be careful and look out for those, which is again why we trust the folks that are experienced and ride with them, and we're learning. But it's important stuff to know and to understand as you ride around these dunes. This is some amazingly fun riding style and something totally new to Susan and I. I mean, we've been out to Pismo, but this was, literally we would ride for 30 minutes at a time without stopping like this. It was pretty amazing and an unbelievably good time. Now we're filming Dario. Dario is one of the great guys around camp, good dude all around, experienced driver, drives really hard, drives in two-wheel drive all the time, and it's interesting. There are folks who drive in four-wheel drive and some in two-wheel. He's a two-wheel drive guy, likes to slide, likes to jump. Time for his shocks to get into shock therapy, probably new springs and recharge on the nitrogen in those, maybe some revalving. Understand that in the past he spent a lot of time jumping and really hammering that thing pretty hard, and we were checking his shocks and springs and they seem pretty soft. So probably one of those things where it's a good time for him to get in there and get those reconditioned, because he's a really aggressive driver, but a fantastic guy and a good guy in camp. Like I said, funny, brought his son and his friend, had a great time with them, and he was having a fun time riding around with us.
I try to offset. Don't follow directly behind.
I'll probably scoot this way a little more, and then we'll go away from the side.
Okay, now we're filming some folks that were behind us. Looks like I'm still in Mike's car. Got Caitlin in the blue YXZ, and her boyfriend Jake is in the white YXZ at the very end. And Dario's back there, and I believe Skylar is in, I think we have that flag wrapped Maverick X3 back there. I was really impressed with the little YXZs as well. I mean, all these cars that are out there today are so amazing. We did a little in-house shock tuning for those later after this, and they were really happy with that as well. Those things are great little cars with the paddle shifters, different than the cars with the belt. I've seen some of those, guys like to rock crawl them. Don't know a ton about those cars, but I know they're great. I know they hang with us, they hang tough, and they have a great time, and they were loving it. And it's great to see young couples out there, and Skylar's, I believe, is Caitlin's dad, and unfortunately her brother Logan had got a brand new blue Can-Am and had a little problem after the second day. I think that we were out there, and we had to shelf that one for a few days, and he had to take it back to the dealer. Not really sure what was happening, but I know they took the plug out of the transmission, found some light metal shavings in there. It was making a little bit of a clunking noise, and they decided to cut it out. So that was unfortunate, but man, we were, still folks having a great time. This is still our first morning run, and we had a fantastic time. I think we're out there for a couple hours, just hitting it hard. And even with all the people that are there, you can see in the background, there's so much room at Glamis. It's awesome. Just ride for days. and this is obviously the swing set. Stopped there, had a good time, goofed around a little bit. There's our group. Go to Glamis. See if you can drive around enough that you can find this place.
Oh, you guys really expect a lot of me as a photographer. Do that again, Jake.
And we played on the swings. I talked everybody into jumping off and just stopped recording about the time Dario did a semi backflip, back flop. Would have been awesome on video, too bad. But good times, and then we were back to riding.
Tell us what we're doing today.
Gonna try to stay on all our wheels.
Damn straight. Gonna have some fun in the bad car today. The big boy. Gonna have a good time. Starting to roll out of camp.
And here I am riding with Doug, leading the pack. Thought I'd jump from car to top car on this particular day and get some video, so here we go. And as you go, try to read where he's gonna turn. Like, watch this. He's coming up on this hill and he could go right. No, he goes left. This is the Doonin' thing, just figuring out which way to go. And Doug has been doing it for years and having a good time with it. There's a picture of an ugly dude. But yeah, having a good time taking some video while Doug was showing us the way.
All right, Dario, car number 2 this morning. Let's do it.
Okay, and then I was inadvertently recording in slow-mo. While I was recording in slow-mo, we came upon that black dot on the hill, which didn't look good. As it turns out, that's a 4-door Can-Am on its side. You can see that big steep hill to the right of it. They came up that in an angle. They were riding alone, not safe. They were fairly inexperienced. First ride on the Can-Am. Came up that hill. A young lady tried to make a hard left, and they went over 1.5 times. You can kind of see as we pull up here, there's some tracks. I can't see them really well, but they kind of came up on that ridge and just rolled right over. They were there. We pushed them back over. Probably a good example of what you shouldn't be doing at Glamis, out in a new car. Not sure how experienced the riders they were. I think the young lady that was driving wasn't all that experienced, and bad stuff happens. Fortunately, no one got hurt. Car was okay. Maybe had a broken mirror or some minor little thing, and we rolled them back over, and all was well. But yeah, certainly a good lesson for all of us and for anybody watching this video that things happen that you want to be able to get out of, and you don't want to have it happen when you're sitting out there by yourself. So ride in groups, be safe. Well, Susan then went to shock therapy, and this is what happened. Out there on the whoops, look at her doing like probably 60 plus. Mike's going pretty fast. I'm in his car, and she is just hooking it up. So this is the sand highway, and man, you can see that her car sits higher, lifted it up a little bit. You can see how it was really just hammered through those whoops. She said that the faster she went, the smoother it felt. So we're talking a little bit about the shock therapy and shocks, tuning. There's a lot of things you can do yourself, so I'm going to talk a little bit about that right now. This is just me, Mike, and Susan out on the run, testing out her new shock therapy suspension. They went through and redid the internals on the shocks. We put a new sway bar on. We got the new springs put on. I will say it was Thanksgiving, and the day that they did this, we fit our car in, even though we really weren't supposed to be there till much later in December to get that done. Great people, nice guys, had a great time. Susan was smiling ear to ear. Couldn't believe how happy she was cars a little bit, and adjusting those compression settings and the rebound settings in the bottom of the shot can help a lot. I know we did that to the YXZs, and they ran much better. We just turned them all the way to stiff and back a quarter turn, and made those things as stiff as they could go, and that really helped them out a lot. I know Susan was super stoked about her upgrade. To say that was money well spent would be a complete understatement. She had a great time, and we ran them pretty hard after that, and the car ran fantastic. So can't say enough about shock therapy. I know Mike has already gotten himself a set of springs, and he's upgrading his Razor with the shock therapy springs. He already has the electronically adjustable shocks, so he has some tuning. See how much tuning he might do in the future. I think Dario's going in. I think they're going to take one of the YXZs in. Got an appointment on December. So a lot of folks are doing that. Like I said, if you're going to run like this, the Can-Ams or whatever car you buy, they come out of the shop built a specific way. One of the things we learned was that one of the reasons they're not as tuned as well as you might like directly out of the store is that there are certain safety tests. One of them is like you have to take a certain wheel-to-wheel turn, and if you lift the tire, you fail the safety test. You can't sell it. You're not certified. So there's some things they do to keep them safe. But when you really want to get in and start riding hard, and you want you want a vehicle that will perform at this kind of driving and going fast, you're going to need to step it up, and maybe some different springs, maybe some different tuning. So had a fantastic run with Susan and Mike this one morning. I mean, and we were, you see in the video, we were moving. And now I think we arrived. Boy, I don't want to misspeak, but I think this was Comp Hill. I think that's what Mike said. We ran up and down it a couple times. It was early. There weren't a lot of people out there. And yeah, we had a good time. Here comes Susan, cruising up Comp Hill, making it look easy, and just kind of like, well, that wasn't all that tough. And I don't know that this is Comp Hill. It was just one of the bigger hills out there. This is one of the ones that people like to go just up and down. And so we did some of that, had a good time. I think we cruised over to Oldsmobile Hill after this. Somebody correct me if that's not Comp Hill. And we're on the road heading out to Oldsmobile Hill. You can see we're in line with traffic and just cruising along. See Susan's suspension working. There's some whoops there. I mean, it was really soaking up the bumps, and quite frankly, when I talked to her later, she said, like, I wish I could have gone faster. Like, she said at higher speeds, this thing just soaked it up so much better. So that's a testament to how great that worked. And that's Oldsmobile Hill, the big hill up there on the right. The guys going up and down. So we went there. Didn't get any video of us going up and down. I guess Susan had gone up that hill earlier in the week, but didn't want to try it with all the people around. Yeah.
The new car.
Then we got into a little bit different. These riding, same basic idea. These were just smaller dunes. These seemed to be to the, say, the east of Oldsmobile Hill. And the dunes weren't as big, kind of smaller dunes, so it was a lot of up and down, a couple little steep drop-offs, you know, and we played around in these guys for a while, had a good time. And, you know, similar. I mean, I love that view of Glamis out here. I mean, when you just look out in the horizon, you just see those dunes going on forever. It's unbelievable. Beautiful place to be. Room for everybody. You know, this is what America's all about. Is just, you know, being able to go out and play, and I mean, just have a great time. This is as good as it gets.
What do you think, baby?
You know, the sand highway, the faster I went, it was like glass.
Very cool.
Did you go up Oldsmobile?
And my rear end wasn't like all swirly, and I didn't bottom out once. And yeah, I went up on the hill, and I loved it.
Awesome.
So now I just need to go next door and go get some more power.
I don't know, man. Mike said you went up the top of Oldsmobile.
Yeah, I did.
So,
Yeah,
more power, you can be dangerous.
Thank you. Very welcome.
Hey, you guys are the best. You rocked it on Thanksgiving night. You rocked it for us, man. It's awesome.
Thank you guys. Thank you very much.
That was
Cool.
I forgot what it was. Whatever that, it was the best money ever. I love it.
There we go.
Thank you so much. Thank you for coming back and letting us know. That's awesome.
Yeah, you guys
bet.
did awesome.
Be safe out there. Have a good rest of your weekend.
You bet. You guys too.